Hello everyone, I'm here with another review video, and this time I am reviewing Stormlight Archive Book 5, Wind and Truth. This is going to be a non-spoiler review, because this is a book that you really should go into without spoilers. Like, go in blind. This book is the end of the first arc of the Stormlight Archive. There will be 5 more books after this, and then book 10 will be the end of the series. And as you can see, it is a hefty, chunky boy. I really like this book. I felt like it was a good conclusion to the first arc. And this book really is kind of pulling some kind of triple duty. And that is, I think, both to some of its strength and some of its detriment. So what Brandon's doing with this book is he's ending one story arc while setting up stuff for the second story arc. And he's also answering a bunch of questions that relates to the first story arc, which is great if you're a lore and history junkie like I am. I love this shit. It's not so great when we don't really have a lot of time to sit with some of the stuff that's happened. Like, there's some big fucking reveals in this book, and we don't really get that breath we need to sit with some of it, unless, you of course, just sit down with the book and sit and think about things. It's like, ooh, man, that thing with Shallan, or, ooh, boy, that thing that Dalinar found out, stuff like that. So, again, I feel like it is both a strength and detriment to this book. I do have a couple of gripes past that. One of which is Brandon, in this novel, sort of turned to using more Earth swear words. Like, because, fantasy, like, you got two camps. You either have, Earth swear words, or you have made up ones. And for the most part, with a couple of exceptions, Brandon has relied on, fake made up swears. But now, like, he's using other ones. And now, granted, he has said his books are sort of in translation, if you will, in that, someone got a hold of these stories and is translating them to English, so while, the words that they are saying that is on the page is the closest approximation to what the characters would actually be saying in that universe. Like, Wit says hell at some point, and I don't think that means there's an actual hell in the Cosmere, but it's the closest thing that the translator, Brandon, would have to what Wit was actually saying, if that makes any sort of sense. The other thing, and I'm going to take a swig of a drink real quick. The other thing that kind of bugged me is, so while it's still tame, there is a bit more sexual stuff in this book. Like, Brandon hasn't gone full-on Fond du Lis. Like, he's not getting descriptive like she would. No shade at Fond du Lis. I really like Jade City. Looking forward to reading the rest of the trilogy. But I personally didn't need, details about the sex scenes. Which is why I'm going to read the rest of the trilogy in print, so I can skip that. But anyway, Brandon doesn't go into details. It's still very much, implied, or it's, he tells you that some people are, hooking up, or in one case, somebody gets walked in on while they're naked, and it's used as a joke, but I'm just like, this is weird. Like, it's not that Brandon can't do it, he's allowed, but after, 19, 20 books in the Cosmere where, some of this is barely mentioned at all, and then suddenly he's got 3 instances of, hey, there's some people hooking up in a shower. Hey, these two people that I would not have expected at all to be hooking up are, banging. And then, somebody getting walked in on while they're naked. It's it's kind of jarring. It's kind of jarring. You do you, Brandon. I'm gonna keep reading regardless. Because you've kind of hooked me. But, please let that be the furthest you go. Don't go full Fond du Lis. Again, no shade. I did like Jade City. I hope I like the rest. Excuse me. Yeah, overall, really like the book. And even the things that I'm not happy with the book, it's not because it's bad writing, it's because I wanted things to go a little bit differently than they did. There were moments where the book just kind of devastated me. I'm just like, oh. Sadness. But I'm not going to get into that because it's spoiler territory. Anyway, y'all. Again, unsurprisingly, I love the Stormlight Archive, and I'm annoyed that we gotta wait 7 more years before we get more. But hey, Isles of the Emberdark is out next year. We might be getting White Sand next year, maybe not, who knows. And he's gonna start working on the next Mistborn and the rest of the Elantris trilogy. So, we'll get stuff. It's just not Stormlight. I do think he said at some point we're getting the Rock novella, which is gonna not like Dwayne Johnson, but the character named Rock, Unumuk. Fuck me, I always trip myself up the first couple times I try to say this. Unumuhuku Maki Aki Ealunamor. I might have butchered that a little bit. Anyway. I hope y'all have a good one. Go read these books or listen to them. Yes, they're chonkers, but they're worth it. They're one of my favorite series ever. And I will see y'all in the next video.